Power is a game and most of you are losing. You trust too easily, you show your heart too openly, and you mistake kindness for strength. That is why you are outmaneuvered. By rulers, by rivals, even by friends. But what if I told you that 500 years ago, I wrote down the rules to outsmart everyone? Today I reveal them to you, the 21 laws of power. Learn them, and you will no longer be prey. Fail, and you will forever be ruled. Power is rarely taken by brute force alone. Strength may win battles, but it does not win loyalty. Wealth may buy soldiers, but it does not buy obedience forever. What truly shapes victory, what bends men and women to your will, is deception. Appearances deceive, and those who master appearances master the world. Look around you. The powerful do not always strike with their swords. They strike with illusions. They let their enemies believe they are weak when they are strong. They let their rivals believe they are merciful when their hearts are ruthless. They let the people believe they are guided by morality, while every step they take is guided by calculation. Do you see? To outsmart everyone, you must learn to wear masks, the mask of virtue, the mask of friendship, the mask of loyalty. While beneath, your true designs remain hidden. Deception is not dishonesty for its own sake. It is strategy, it is survival. Those who rush to show their true intentions are devoured first. The wolf who bears its fangs too early is hunted, but the wolf that cloaks itself in the skin of a sheep may walk among the flock unnoticed, until the moment it chooses to feast. If you wish to rule, you must master this art of hiding in plain sight. Consider the court of any king. Those who openly declare their ambition are crushed, branded as threats. But those who bow, who speak softly, who flatter, rise closer to the throne. And once they stand near enough, once the king trusts them, once the court sees them as harmless, only then do they reveal the steel beneath their silk. That, my listener, is the genius of deception. You may say, but is this not immoral? And I will answer you with cold truth. Morality is the shield of the weak. The powerful have always deceived, always cloaked their ambitions, always spoken one truth to the masses, while whispering another to their allies. If you cling to honesty in a dishonest world, you make yourself a lamb for slaughter. Do not mistake your virtue for strength. Men admire virtue, yes, but they follow power. And deception is the lever by which power moves the hearts of men. Deception as strategy is not limited to courts or kings. It governs every human interaction. In business, the rival who smiles at you while shaking your hand may already be plotting your downfall. In politics, the leader who promises peace may already be preparing for war. Even in love, appearances seduce more than truth. You may not want to believe it, but people do not hunger for honesty. They hunger for the illusions that comfort them. And those who provide those illusions gain control over them. Ask yourself this: do you tell the world your every weakness? Do you confess your every desire, your every flaw, your every mistake? Of course not. You already practice deception, but timidly, cautiously, without realizing its full power. What I teach you is to wield deception with intention, to sharpen it into a weapon. Do not simply hide your weaknesses. Use them as bait. Do not simply mask your desires. Project desires that will mislead your rivals. Do not simply remain silent. Speak words that guide others exactly where you want them to go, while your true path leads elsewhere. History is carved by deceivers. Alexander spread propaganda to terrify his enemies before battles were fought. Caesar bent the Senate by speaking of Rome's glory while plotting his dictatorship. Even the church cloaked its hunger for power in the language of salvation. All understood one thing: mankind is ruled not by truth, but by the perception of truth. And perception is always pliable, always malleable, always in the hands of the one who dares to manipulate it. If you want to outsmart everyone, learn to misdirect their eyes. When they look east, strike from the west. When they believe you weak, prepare your strength. When they believe you harmless, sharpen your dagger. Every time you deceive, you gain an advantage, and every time you reveal yourself, you surrender one. Remember this: the world does not reward honesty. It rewards mastery, and mastery demands that you hide your true nature until the moment it is too late for your enemies to resist. Power is not what you hold in your hands. Power is what others believe you hold. Men live not by truth but by perception. The king is not obeyed because of his crown of gold. He is obeyed because people believe that crown has meaning. The general is not feared because of his sword, but because men believe he can unleash armies. Every act of authority rests upon this fragile yet unbreakable illusion: control what others see, and you control what they think. Control what they think, and you control what they do. Perception is stronger than reality, because reality is limited, but perception has no boundaries. Reality is confined to what exists. Perception can create what does not exist at all. A man may be weak, but if others perceive him as dangerous, They will tread carefully. A man may be poor, but if others believe he is wealthy, doors will open before him. A ruler may be hated in secret, but if the crowd believes he is loved, his throne will remain secure. Most men crave certainty, yet the world is uncertain. They do not seek truth. They seek the comfort of an image. That is why the clever ruler crafts symbols, rituals, and stories to mask his flaws and amplify his strength. Think of a prince riding through the city on a white horse, dressed in radiant armor, smiling as though touched by heaven itself. Perhaps his treasury is empty. Perhaps his soldiers grumble in private, but the spectacle convinces the people of stability. They see his grandeur and believe in his power. Belief is enough to hold the kingdom together. Control of perception means never allowing others to see the world as it is. Let them see only what serves your ambition. If you are ruthless, let them see you as merciful. If you are merciful, let them see you as ruthless. If you are weak, show the mask of strength. If you are strong, show the mask of weakness, until it is time to strike. What they perceive becomes their reality, and their reality becomes the stage on which you move unseen. Consider this: truth is like a blade. It can cut once, twice, but then it dulls. Perception is like fire. It spreads, it multiplies, it consumes the minds of men. And once it spreads, you need not even hold it any longer. The people themselves will carry it forward. A whisper in a court, a rumor in a marketplace, an image in a church, all these shape perception more powerfully than any speech of honesty. That is why the wise ruler pays attention not only to his actions, but to how his actions are told. You may achieve a small victory on the battlefield, but if the story told is that you conquered with brilliance, your fame will grow far beyond what the battle itself could give. You may suffer defeat, but if you cloak it in glory, if you convince the people it was part of a greater plan, you rob your enemies of triumph. Understand this well: it is not events that matter, but the narrative surrounding them. Whoever controls the narrative controls the world. Even in your daily life, you already see this truth. The man who dresses in fine clothes, though burdened with debt, is treated with respect. The woman who carries herself with confidence, though racked with doubt, is seen as untouchable. Perception creates power where none exists, and hides weakness where it threatens to surface. To live without mastery of perception is to leave your fate in the hands of others. To master it is to write your destiny with your own hand. Do not think that control of perception is achieved only by grand displays. Sometimes the smallest gestures reshape what others believe. A silence held too long can suggest mystery. A glance at the right moment can suggest authority. A carefully chosen word can be remembered long after truth is forgotten. You must learn to craft yourself as an image, a story, a presence that lingers in the minds of others. That image will often matter more than who you really are. History belongs not to the strongest, but to those who control how the story is told. Kings fall, empires crumble, armies vanish into dust, but the perception of their greatness survives for centuries, inspiring fear and reverence long after their bones are gone. And this is the greatest advantage perception grants you: it outlives reality. While your enemies deal in the present, you must deal in illusions that stretch into the future, shaping what people believe even after you are no longer there to guide them. If you wish to outsmart everyone, do not struggle for truth alone. Truth is heavy, it resists. It often fails to persuade. Perception's light: it flies, it multiplies, it seduces. Learn to manipulate it, to bend it, to weave it into the fabric of every room you walk into. For once you master perception, you will no longer need to explain yourself, no longer need to fight every battle, no longer need to reveal your strength. Others will hand you power willingly, because they already believe you hold it. Every ruler faces the same question. Every leader confronts the same dilemma. Every man who seeks to command others must ask, is it better to be loved or to be feared? The weak cling to love, hoping it will secure loyalty, but they soon discover love is fragile, fleeting, and unreliable. Love is granted freely, but it can be withdrawn in an instant. One betrayal, one disappointment, one whisper of doubt, and love evaporates like mist in the morning sun. Fear, however, endures. Fear roots itself deep in the hearts of men. Fear is constant because it is tied not to affection, but to survival. A man may stop loving you, but he will not stop fearing the consequences of defying you. And as long as he fears, he obeys. Do not misunderstand me. I do not say that love has no value. Love can inspire devotion. It can win hearts. It can bring people willingly to your side. But love is only safe when it is bound tightly with fear. For without fear, love is weak. A prince who seeks only to be loved will be betrayed by the very affection he relies upon. Because when hardship comes, when loyalty becomes costly, when love requires sacrifice, most men will choose themselves over you. But if they fear what happens when they betray you, They will remain at your side, even when their hearts wish to flee. Human beings are fickle. They admire kindness but exploit it. They praise mercy but abuse it. They speak of loyalty but break it at convenience. To rule, to survive, to rise above the common, you must accept this cold truth: men are not noble creatures, but self-interested ones. They obey not out of gratitude, but out of necessity. That is why fear is the stronger chain, because it binds them not to their feelings, but to their instinct to preserve themselves. Think of the father who wishes to guide his household. If he seeks only to be loved, his children may adore him, but they will also disobey him, testing his limits, knowing there is no punishment to fear. But the father who commands respect, who instills fear of consequences, keeps order in his home. His children may not always love him, but they will never forget his authority. The same law applies to kingdoms, to armies, to courts, to businesses, even to friendships. If you are feared, you are respected. If you are loved without fear, you are often despised when love turns sore. Let us examine why fear holds such dominion. Love is voluntary, it is in the hands of the other. Fear is involuntary, it is in your control. You cannot force someone to love you, but you can ensure they fear crossing you. You cannot command affection, but you can command obedience through the dread of consequences. Fear places the balance of power in your hands, while love leaves it in theirs. Which would you rather? There are those who will whisper that fear makes you hated, and hatred is dangerous. This is true, but only if you wield fear carelessly. Hatred rises when fear turns to cruelty without purpose, when punishment is seen as unjust, when your rule serves no order, no stability. But if fear is tempered with reason, if punishment is predictable, if your strength is seen as a shield as much as a sword, then fear does not breed hatred. It breeds respect. Men will call you stern, but they will obey you. They will not love you, but they will rely on you. And in politics, in power, in survival, reliance is worth far more than affection. Love may fade in times of famine, but fear will keep men in line even when their bellies are empty. Love may dissolve in times of war, but fear will make soldiers fight. Knowing the price of cowardice is worse than the risk of battle. Love may turn against you when rumors spread, but fear silences tongues, for men do not dare speak against one who can punish swiftly. Ask yourself, would you rather be followed by men who love you but might desert you when it is convenient, or men who fear you and will never risk disobedience? The answer is clear. To outsmart your rivals, to outlast your enemies, you must build a reputation that inspires both admiration and dread. If you can be both loved and feared, fortune has smiled upon you. But if you must choose, if you must sacrifice one for the other, then choose fear. For fear will protect you when love betrays you, and in the arena of power, betrayal is not a possibility, it is a certainty. A ruler must therefore learn the delicate balance. Show enough kindness to soften the edge of fear, but never so much that you are seen as weak. Offer rewards to those who serve you faithfully, but let punishment be swift and unrelenting for those who cross you. Maintain an image of justice, but always remind them of your authority. Love may win their hearts, but fear will guard your throne. Power is not a luxury. It is not an ornament that one may choose to wear or discard. Power is survival itself. Strip away the costumes of civilization, remove the rituals of politics, and what remains is the eternal struggle to command, or to be commanded. Every age disguises this truth, wrapping it in the robes of morality, religion, democracy, or progress, but beneath every disguise lies the same naked contest of strength and cunning. This is why the strategies I teach are not bound by my century nor yours. They are not old laws. They are not new laws. They are survival itself, written into the marrow of human ambition. Men deceive themselves into believing that times have changed, that humanity has grown more virtuous, more rational, more civilized. But listen closely, and you will hear the same whispers of envy, the same hunger for dominance, the same fear of betrayal that haunted the palaces of Florence, that poisoned the courts of Rome, that spilled blood upon the sands of empires long forgotten. Do not be fooled by the modern world's glass towers and glowing screens. Beneath them lurk the same instincts that governed kings and assassins. That is why the blueprint I lay before you is timeless. To survive, you must first accept that men are not guided by truth, but by advantage. They ally with you when it benefits them, and abandon you when it costs them. They praise you when they fear you and mock you when they sense weakness. Every handshake conceals calculation. Every promise conceals self-interest. When you understand this, betrayal no longer surprises you, and loyalty no longer deceives you. You see the game for what it is, and you learn to play it without illusion. The survival blueprint begins with perception. As I have told you, control what others believe, and you control their choices. But perception alone is not enough. you must back it with consequence. Fear is the safeguard of power, for affection fades but dread endures. If your enemies do not fear you, your allies will not respect you, and your subjects will not obey you. Yet fear must never tip into hatred, for hatred breeds revolt. The balance between fear and trust, punishment and reward, is the foundation of survival. But there is more. A ruler who clings only to one weapon will be destroyed by another. To endure, you must adapt, for the world is always shifting. Fortune favors the one who bends without breaking, who changes his skin as the serpent does, who plays the lion when strength is needed and the fox when cunning is required. Do not be rigid, for rigidity is the armor that cracks. Be fluid, be elusive, be unreadable, and you will endure storms that destroy others. You must also understand that survival is not passive. It is not merely avoiding defeat. It is the art of turning every challenge into an instrument of power. When enemies rise against you, use their hatred to justify your strength. When allies betray you, let their downfall become your lesson to others. When fortune denies you, cloak misfortune as strategy, and the people will believe you foresaw it all. Every loss can be reshaped into the appearance of victory if you are clever enough to write the story before others do. The blueprint of survival demands that you master silence as much as speech. Speak too often, and your words betray your mind. Remain silent, and others will invent stories around you, giving you power you did not even claim. Reveal only what serves you, conceal what would harm you. Let your presence be felt more than your voice, so that men project their own fears and desires upon you, never knowing which are true. In this way, you become not a man but a figure of power, a shadow larger than flesh. Remember also that survival is not secured once, but every day in every act in every calculation. The ruler who believes himself safe is already doomed. Complacency is death. The knife that kills you will not come from the enemy you see, but from the ally you ignored, the friend you trusted too easily, the rival you dismissed as weak. To survive, you must live as though surrounded by daggers, never resting, never blind, always alert. The cost of vigilance is high, but the cost of negligence is fatal. The timeless blueprint I offer is not kindness, not comfort, not peace. It is endurance. It is the art of remaining in command while others fall. It is the ability to turn shifting fortunes into unshackable authority. It is the wisdom to know when to appear merciful and when to strike without hesitation. It is the discipline to sacrifice love if it means gaining fear, to abandon morality if it means seizing advantage, to discard illusions if it means holding power. Look at history and you will see the truth. Dynasties rise not by virtue, but by strategy. Empires endure not by honesty, but by cunning. Leaders who survive are those who accept the world as it is, not as it ought to be. They do not beg for loyalty. They command it. They do not pray for peace. They prepare for war. They do not expose their hearts. They expose only what manipulates the hearts of others. This is why their names remain carved in stone while countless dreamers, poets, and idealists vanish into the dust. If you desire survival, if you seek to outlast betrayal, envy, and fortune's cruelty, then understand power is not a moment, it is a structure. You must build it daily, reinforce it with fear, cloak it with deception, feed it with perception, and guard it with vigilance. Only then will you endure where others are broken. Only then will your throne stand when others crumble. Only then will you grasp the immortal truth of power as I have laid it before you. You have now heard the laws. You have walked through the corridors of deception, learned the art of shaping perception, weighed the strength of fear against the weakness of love, and seen the blueprint that has outlived kingdoms and empires. These are not lessons for the timid. They are not comforts for the weak. They are weapons, sharper than steel, older than kings, written in the blood of history. The world has not changed. Men are still ruled by illusion, still swayed by fear, still quick to betray when love no longer serves them. To outsmart them is to accept this truth and wield it without hesitation. If you can master these laws, you will never again be at the mercy of fortune. You will not be deceived, because you are the deceiver. You will not be ruled, because you are the one who commands. You will not be forgotten, because power once seized writes your name in the memory of mankind. Others will stumble. Others will trust too easily, speak too openly, or love too recklessly. They will be outmaneuvered, outplayed, and outsmarted. But not you. You have seen the game for what it is. You now hold the map, the weapons, the code. And with these, you may walk into any chamber, any court, any battlefield, and know that you are prepared. Remember, this power belongs to those who dare to take it, and survival belongs to those who dare to keep it. These laws are your armor, your sword, and your shield. Carry them with you always, for in the struggle between ruler and ruled, between predator and prey, between master and servant, it is not strength nor wealth, nor virtue that decides victory. It is the mastery of power itself.